So I'm curious if you've ever seen this before. So typically you might see this on a carving, maybe even a stained glass window of a pelican. Wings kind of stretched, pecking at her own chest while her little chicks gather beneath her. You might think, why a pelican? That's kind of weird, right?
Yeah,
Like,
I,
what is
I
this?
saw one of those at the Cathedral of Our Lady of Walsingham when I was going to
Really
church there. Yep, that was in one of the stained glasses. Like
interesting. So
pelican. Weird.
it's a weird choice, but there is a reason for it, and we're going to kind of break it down. This is from a church pop article. We'll make sure to link it for you in the show notes. But yeah, like, what does this have to do with Jesus or the Eucharist? Well, you're about to find out. Okay, so there's an ancient legend that goes all the way back to early Rome. It tells of the mother pelican who, when food was scarce, would wound herself, striking her own breast with her beak in order to feed her starving chicks with her own blood. And in some versions of this legend, she even raises them from the dead by an act of self sacrifice. Of course, modern scientists will say pelicans don't literally do this, of course, but that's not the point. Obviously, it's a symbol, a very powerful one at that. And the early Christians saw in this story a reflection of Christ who poured out his very body and blood for us, his spiritual children. Okay, so we know that the church has embraced this symbol. So by the third and fourth centuries, this image was already appearing in a book. And I may mispronounce this one, but it's the Physioglis. I'll have it spelled correctly. We'll have it spelled correctly in the show notes. But it's an early Christian book that tied animal behaviors to spiritual truths. And from there, the image spread like wildfire. I mean, you had in medieval churches and monasteries the pelican in her piety, as it came to be called. It was carved into altars, painted into manuscripts, etched into chalices, always depicting her with chicks beneath and her breast bleeding. And by the 12th century, it was everywhere. The pelican became one of the most enduring images of the Eucharist in Christian art and symbolism. And now you probably will see it all over the place. So, kind of bringing it back to the Eucharist, I think about the words of Jesus in John chapter 6. And then I believe Monsignor Charles Pope mentioned this one as well this morning. Jesus says, unless you eat of the flesh of the Son of Man and drink of his blood, you do not have life within you. For my flesh is true food, and my blood is true drink. It's not a metaphor. It's not symbolism. That's literally sacrificial love offered to us in, of course, the Holy Eucharist, the Blessed Sacrament. So just like the pelican, Christ feeds us with his own body and blood poured out from his pierced side on the cross. That's what we receive at every Mass. Now, even St. Thomas Aquinas had something to pick up on this, and this is once again shared on the Church Pop article in a Eucharistic hymn. In one of the stanzas, he actually calls Jesus the loving pelican. I'm not going to say it in the Latin phrase, but it's roughly translated, O loving pelican, Lord Jesus, cleanse me, a sinner, with your precious blood. I mean, when a saint like St. Thomas Aquinas is using this imagery in your sacred music, there's probably some rich meaning going along with it. So, next time you're in an older church, I think even some newer churches, like you mentioned, Tim, have some variation of this. Just take a look around. You might just find this pelican carved into a tabernacle door, maybe hidden in a stained glass window, or just resting at the foot of a cross. Interestingly enough, even in secular spaces, this shows up. So in Corpus Christi College at Cambridge, it has a pelican as its symbol. Even Queen Elizabeth I used it on her royal crest to signify selfless love for her people. It's a pretty deep image rooted in Christian and even obviously Western culture itself. Okay, so why does this even matter today? Well, we live in a world of fast answers, shallow love, and the Eucharist is the exact opposite. I think we could say that. It's deep, it's intimate, it's costly. and it's real. And the pelican, well, it's just a reminder that love is a sacrifice, that Christ didn't give us a symbol. Once again, referring back to what Monsignor Charles Pope told us in earlier than Mondays with Monsignor. He gave us himself, body, blood, soul, divinity, and he feeds us still every day from the altar. Which, once again, I can't keep thinking about what Monsignor said when talking about all of the people that we see are no longer going to mass. Um, we need to feed our souls, and for those that haven't been to mass in such a long time, like the state of their souls, they're hungry. And so it's just another reminder, if you know somebody out there who hasn't been to mass in a while, maybe just take a first step and maybe invite them to adoration. Trying to baby steps, get them back, because we know they're hungry. Even for us that maybe we only go once a week to Sunday mass. I mean, we're only feeding our souls once a week. I know myself. I need to challenge myself to focus more on going to daily mass, because my soul hungers for Jesus. And yeah, that's my challenge to myself and to everybody out there. Maybe we one extra day to go into daily mass. That'll benefit, I think, everybody, especially in the crazy times that we're living in. I mean, we've seen it. We talked about it on Friday with the issue in Iran. We can't control what our elected officials are doing, but we can control what we actually do. And it may just be going to mass one extra day a week. Think the change that we can do just by changing ourselves. But anyway, so the next time you go for Holy Communion, maybe just kneel before the tabernacle. Maybe a good idea to kind of picture that pelican, not as some odd bird on a window pane, but just as a living image of Jesus, wounded for love, giving all for you. So once again, I highly recommend checking out this article. It's on Church Pop. It's titled "The Pelican and the Eucharist: How This Bird Became a Symbol of Christ's Sacrificial Love." And share it with a friend. A lot of Catholics out there, I mean, there's so much rich tradition of our faith. Sometimes things like these little details, these little nuances, they go unnoticed, even though it's been part clearly of our faith for so long. You might just share something brand new to a Catholic, cradle Catholic. I would even say go as far as to share it with a new Catholic, because we know, at least this last Easter, how many people have come into the church. I mean, you've seen France, right? France had big numbers coming in, and she's the eldest daughter of the church. There's something happening. So there's a resurgence of our Catholic faith, and it is a very exciting time to be Catholic. I hope you are excited just as much as I am. So once again, all of that article will be in our show notes for you to read and to share.